With PlayStation 5 right around the corner, I thought what better time than now to look back at the games I had the most fun with on the PlayStation 4. There were a lot to pick from, but I was able to narrow it down to my top 10. Now to clarify, these games do not have to be Sony exclusives to be on this list. As long as you can play it on a PS4, it's good to go. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into it.
Number 10.
Kicking the list off at number 10 is Resident Evil 7. Now this is one of my favorite franchises of all time, so when I heard they were changing things up and making it first person, my modest response was,
"Please, no! 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 No!"
But I gotta admit, after getting my hands on it, I really like it.
Hello?
Hey, it's Ethan.
Oh, hey.
You play as Ethan Winters, who travels to the swamps of Louisiana after receiving a message from his missing wife. And they must have had one hell of a marriage because he gets cut, stabbed again. The man even gets his leg cut off, and not once does he take a moment to say, maybe I can find a new girl on Tinder. I mean, at some point you gotta know when it's time to move on. This game takes Resident Evil back to its survival horror roots as you are pitted against the maniacal Baker family. Jack Baker, the head of the family, is just as menacing and relentless as any tyrant or nemesis and easily ranks near the top of Resident Evil baddies. Add to that you can play the entire campaign with PSVR and you have one of the most immersive experiences on the PS4.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take you for a ride. No!
Number 9.
Now, I seriously doubt this one's going to be on a lot of people's all-time great list for PS4, but this addictive game keeps finding its way back into my PlayStation. It's a simple concept. You and up to 3 other players have to prep, cook, and take out as many food orders as you can within the time limit. Sounds easy enough, right? But the further you go, the more complex the orders become and the stages get absolutely insane. So check this out. We start off on an alien planet, we get sucked into some kind of dimensional vortex, and then it spits us out in a Hogwarts-style magic castle? Like, what is going on? But it's that kind of randomness that adds to the charm of this game. The varied level design, along with the constant addition of new foods to make, helps to keep things from getting stale. Get it? Stale? Because it's a food game. We'll try again later. But if you're looking for a great game that you can play with your family or maybe your significant other, you won't find one better. The controls are simple enough to where casual gamers can easily pick it up and enjoy, yet more experienced gamers will have fun figuring out how to get those 3-star rankings. No matter how you slice it, there's something for everybody to enjoy here. You get it? Slice.
That's not funny, okay?
Aw, come on, that was a good one.
Number 8.
And coming in at number 8, we have Bloodborne, the action RPG set in an H.P. Lovecraftian world where you play as a sickly character who travels to the faraway land of Yharnam to receive a miracle blood transfusion that can cure any illness. There's just one catch. You have to sign a contract saying you'll become a hunter to help rid the city of beastly creatures like the one crawling towards you right now.
Oh, hell no.
The first thing you're going to notice when playing this game is the difficulty. It is a tough game and it does not get any easier, but demands that you, the player, get better. And eventually you will, but at the beginning, get used to hearing this a lot. But sooner or later it'll click, and before you know it, you'll be dodging and slashing like a pro and can start to truly appreciate just how awesome this game is. There are over 20 unique weapons that you can find throughout the game, and most can be transformed on the fly, giving you a completely new moveset. It also has some of the most challenging boss fights you will ever encounter, guaranteed to push you to the limit and leaving you with a real sense of accomplishment whenever you finally take one down. Bloodborne is a game that begs to be explored, and the deeper you go, the more you'll find a love.
Number 7.
At number 7, we have Horizon Zero Dawn, the open-world adventure game that took us by surprise. This title was developed by Guerrilla Games, the same people that made the critically acclaimed Killzone series. Seeing as how this game was going to be totally different from those, I didn't really know what to expect. But this game blew me away. You play as Aloy, A girl living in a strange time where all the people live a primitive lifestyle, but for some reason, there are all these mechanical beasts roaming the lands. Why has our technology regressed? Where do these animal-like machines come from? And how is Aloy connected to it all? All questions I had a blast getting answers to while I played this game.
Number 6.
Coming in at number 6, we have Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. In Sekiro, you play as a shinobi tasked with protecting a young lord named Kuro, a boy with mysterious powers that others seek to use to their advantage. In my opinion, Sekiro has the most polished combat system on the PlayStation 4. You and all the enemies in the game have a posture meter. You fill their meter by landing attacks and parrying theirs, all the while they're trying to do the same thing to you. Once a posture meter is filled, it breaks and you are able to land a death blow. A simple concept to understand, but incredibly challenging to put into play. In fact, this game is so challenging that it has sparked a debate about whether or not easy mode should be included in all games. And I don't know about all that, but here's an actual clip of me after getting killed by this giant for the 27th time.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
But this game is all about learning the rhythm of your opponents and getting your timing down. There is nothing cooler than standing toe-to-toe with the boss, parrying everything perfectly. I'd show you, but I'm not that good. But if you got the jungle cat reflexes and want to put them to the test, you're bound to have a good time with Sekiro. But for real, I hate that giant.
Number 5.
Up next is Persona 5, a turn-based JRPG that's dripping with style. The story follows a high school student who is wrongly accused of a crime. As a result, he is expelled from school and has to transfer to a new one far away from home and go live in foster care. And then it gets a little weird. He and his newly made friends discover that they can enter the metaverse, a place where people's negative thoughts take on physical form like monsters and large palaces that can be explored. And if you steal what they cherish most while in the metaverse, they will confess all the evil things they have done in the real world.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
And trust me, it makes a lot more sense when you play the game. When you're not fighting monsters, you're living your life in the real world, going to school and hanging out with friends. And it's way more fun than it sounds. As you strengthen your bond with friends, it unlocks new abilities and perks, like getting good with this goth doctor chick and she'll give you a discount on recovery items. This is a tough one to explain. Just know that if you're into RPGs, you owe it to yourself to play this one.
Number 4.
The Last of Us Part 2 is coming in at number 4. This game is fairly new and I don't really think you can say or show much of this game without spoiling something, and I definitely don't want to do that. Just know it is as spectacular as the first one. It looks and plays as well as you would expect from a Naughty Dog game, and the story is so compelling you'll be playing for hours on end just so you can know what happens next. Truly an absolute masterpiece.
Number 3.
That's right, true believers. At number 3, we have the webhead himself, SpiderMan. SpiderMan has had his fair share of video games throughout the years, some good, some not so good. But Marvel Spider-Man is without a doubt the best one ever made. This game is the Spider-Man what the Arkham series is the Batman. Now, web-slinging mechanics can make or break a Spider-Man game, and I'm happy to say they have nailed it perfectly here. The amount of control you have as you swing from building to building will have you wanting to say,
I'm Batman.
Not quite. But speaking of him, the combat is very similar to the Arkham games. By landing consecutive strikes and dodges, you are able to pull off some flashy finishers that really capture that Spidey style. But there are also times when stealth is the best option, as you try to figure out the best way to separate the enemies, then web them up from the shadows. And all of this can be done in your favorite Spider-Man costume, as there are many that can be unlocked throughout the game, and each comes with their own special ability. Like the Iron Spider from the Avenger movies, 4 mechanical arms. Everything about this game screams passion. You can tell that the developers are big Spidey fans and wanted to make a game worthy of his legacy. And that is why it is so high on the list.
Hi, is this the flight to Newark?
Number 2.
Have you ever watched a big budget action movie and say, man, this would make a great game? Well, they did make it into a game. It's called Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, the first Uncharted game released on the PlayStation 4. This game follows series protagonist Nathan Drake, who after his many adventures decided to settle down and live a nice, quiet life with his wife, Elena. Then his brother shows up and he's like, hey, let's go on an adventure. And Nathan's like,
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
this game looks amazing. You will constantly be in awe of what is happening on the screen. This car chase sequence is one of the coolest things that I've ever experienced in a video game, and even to this day, I still go back and play this part sometimes. You go from driving over rooftops to being drugged through the mud behind the back of a big truck to jumping into a moving Jeep and kicking out the driver. It is straight out of a Fast and Furious movie. This game is like the Indiana Jones films had a baby with the old school Tomb Raider games. And if that doesn't get you excited to play this, then we probably wouldn't be that close of friends. But if it does, check out Uncharted 4 and have a good time.
Number 1.
Could there have been any other game at the top of this list? Definitely not for me. God of War on PS4 changes a lot of things that we've come to expect in these titles. The Greek setting has been swapped for Norse mythology. Gone is the fixed camera angle as it now sits tightly over Kratos' shoulder, and you don't even start off with the Blades of Chaos. Even Kratos himself is fundamentally different. No longer is he the rage monster we all fell in love with back in the 2000s. He is a dad on a journey to spread the ashes of his recently deceased wife with his son Atreus. But if you've played the game, you know what his real name is.
We do what we please, boy. Boy, get in the boat, boy. This way, boy. What is it, boy?
But don't think my boy Kratos has gone soft. He will still 100% put them hands on you. Whether it's punching old ladies in the face, popping gorilla monsters in the mouth with an axe, to crushing trolls' heads with giant rocks, and my personal favorite, peeling a werewolf like a banana, Kratos can still turn on the rage with the best of them.
That's nasty.
This game checks all the boxes. The sense of scale is amazing, the combat is so satisfying, and thankfully, the boy feels like an asset and not a burden that you have to escort throughout the entire game. The story is intriguing, and most importantly, it's just a whole lot of fun to play. This is the God of War game that we didn't know we wanted, and it is without a doubt my favorite game on the PlayStation 4. So that's my top 10 PS4 games. What are your all-time favorites? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed making it, and if you did, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. As always, thanks for watching Chasing Games.